Good evening, and welcome to another installment of the Shadow Gallery. I'll be your host once again. I'm James Donnelly, and well, this week we're going to cover not only last week's comics, but this week's comics. So, without further ado, we're going to start in with last week's comics. I lied. We're going to start in with the major event in this week's comics. Now, I did not get the most recent issue of the Fantastic Four. Why? I didn't need to. Because every fucking place, from Twitter to the internet, to Facebook, even Marvel themselves blew it. Which member of the Fantastic Four was going to die and then eventually come back, I'm sure. There was a lot of speculation for the last couple of months. The kind of odds-on favorites seemed to be Reed. To kind of leave them without a leader seemed to be almost kind of making sense, but they already kind of did that. So then the odds-on favorite was Sue, because Marvel loves to break up families. They're homewreckers essentially. And she was, it was kind of split between her and Johnny Storm. So let's kill the comic relief. Let's kill the Human Torch. The Human Torch is dead. Supposedly sacrificing his life to save, I'm assuming, trillions of galaxies, or maybe just, like 10 people. Who knows? I'll be honest, I'm not that familiar with Jonathan Hickman's work. I am eminently familiar with Steve Epting's artwork, and it's always great. So in certain respects, I would have liked to have read it. But I've been pretty disenchanted with the Fantastic Four pretty much all of my life, except for maybe some of the Byrne days. But especially recently with, I think it was Millar and Finch teamed up to do the Fantastic Four and that whole New World thing. So anyway, that's out of the way. I knew it was coming. You knew it was coming. Everybody knew it was coming. So it was no big shock. I'll be honest. The reason I didn't get it is because they were all. I came in a little over an hour after Atomic Comics and Chandler opened up, and they were already sold out. So I figured this would be one comic they would be heavily overstocked on. And they were not. They were severely understocked if they sold out in less than an hour. So, anyway. We're going to switch gears and we're going to go to last week's comics. Okay? So, last week, as I said, it was a pretty fat week. At least reading-wise, a couple of things for me that I hadn't read before that I'm going to talk about. Again, I'll try and keep this brief. Because there's a lot to cover. Okay, so we got Scarlet #4. Now this is probably my favorite Bendis title, possibly ever. It's really that good. It's very smartly written. I mean, it's written more as and I read something to this effect. It seems more like almost like a really bitchin' documentary, rather than a comic book, and a mockumentary, if you will. I mean, it's not making fun of documentaries, certainly. So, docudrama, I guess, is the best way to do it. But it's a docu-thriller, about revolution and flash mobs and police corruption. Basically, one woman who says this is not the way that we should be living. And by everything that she's gone through, she's right. Um, and it's becoming an increasingly fascinating read. I hope it maintains the same vigor, the same energy, uh, the same intensity that it's already achieved in just 4 issues. So, again, Bendis and Malieve, kudos. You're creating a really great creator-owned comic. I know that's, some people kind of look on that as a bad word, so, or as a bad term, because they shouldn't really be, shouldn't have to differentiate between creator-owned comics and comics. So anyway, on the brightest day, number 18. Again, DC with their minimalist covers right now, and this is a really huge game changer. This is the issue to get as far as if you're needing to jump on, maybe this is a good place to start, because it has the big shocker as far as what may be going on, or at least as far as characters are concerned. It has the biggest shock of them all. And it all has to do with, well, not all has to do, but I mean the major characters that are dealt with here are Hawkman and Hawkgirl. So I can't really say any more than that. Obviously, Deadman and Dove seem to be involved. Obviously, Deadman, because he is pretty much the kind of the tether. He has the White Lantern ring, so there's something very something very deep going on here, and I'm still not quite sure what it is. But this is really an issue that's kind of gotten me reinvigorated into the series. It's been kind of telling the story on kind of more of a human level, and this just it really ups the ante. So it's a really good read and very highly recommended. Then we move on to probably my favorite cover of last week, Batman Streets of Gotham. Paul Dini at it again with Hush, and with Batman and Catwoman, and more potential secrets of the Wayne family. Leaves off with another pretty significant type of not cliffhanger per se, but it's definitely it's definitely interesting. Because, obviously, as you know, the relationship between Batman and Catwoman has always been one of, almost, not always, but, at least in recent years, it's been kind of playfully adversarial. They're not quite sure whether or not they should hate each other. They're not quite sure whether or not they should love each other. It's like the dark David and Maddie. It really is. It's you don't know if they're going to end up together. You don't even know if you want them to end up together. But if they do, prepare for some major changes. And despite the fact that it's Batman Streets of Gotham, it seems to be dealing a lot more with, and I don't know if this was kind of the mission statement of this particular comic, because the Batman titles are very split. Some of them deal with Dick Grayson being Batman, some of them deal with Bruce Wayne being Batman. So again, it's a pretty, it's a really interesting read. It's not particularly intense or anything like that, but it does, I think it gives a new light to the beginning of the Joker's career, which is told from a third-person perspective. So that was that I thought was a really neat story device, and maybe one that they'll employ more in the future. So this is the end of part 1. Come back for part 2. We're going to talk more about last week's releases. So stay tuned.